You're now listening to the Sacred Soul Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy that you're here today. We are going to be talking about intuition, and I'm so excited because I feel like I get so many questions on intuition and what is it and how do I use it? How can I tell when I'm, receiving an intuitive download? And I'm here to help you with this today. I think that I first want to start off by saying that there's so many people that have a different perspective on what intuition is, where does it come from? And I think for many people, the idea is that intuition comes from like the third eye, maybe the gut feeling. And when I sat and thought about what is intuition, I really do believe that it comes from your entire physical body. I think that intuition is the expression and the voice of the physical. Intuition is really creative. It's really artistic. It's really based on the emotional awareness and your emotional intelligence. It utilizes all of these things that are very human, right? And so I feel like the best way to actually become intuitive is to allow yourself to be present in your experiences, even the hard shit, like when you're going through a breakup, when you're going through something that stirs up an emotional experience for you. The more that you can allow yourself to really just dive into that feeling, even if it's sadness, you are allowing the intuitive mind, which is the body, right? We have the thinking mind, the logical thinking mind, and then we have the intuitive mind, which is that space within ourselves that knows how to feel, that knows how to sense, that knows how to detect the subtleties. It's really tender, those tender parts of us that we feel very, very deeply. The more that we can allow ourselves to be in that space of feeling things, the stronger our intuition becomes. You're teaching your body through the habit of feeling and being present that the next time that there's a potential to feel this thing like heartbreak or betrayal or whatever it is that you're going through, when you're moving forward in life, and there's another opportunity to potentially feel that, your body's gonna let you know, like, oh no, Alex, remember that feeling that we had last time? We're going into the same energy now. That's how intuition works. You have to teach it through your experiences on how to detect what feels good to the body and what doesn't feel good to the body. My intuition is going to guide me on what direction is going to feel good to me the most. So intuition comes in not only in the ways of like, oh, this person is bad, let me not go in this direction because I feel bad vibes. It's not always bad vibes. Sometimes it's good vibes. Spirit and your spirit and your energy and your intuition wants to lead you in the direction of good vibes. So I think too that we have this idea of intuition being sort of the savior of keeping us out of harm's way, and it does do that. It does, because if you are in a constant state of survival mode and needing to protect yourself, feeling like you have this wall up, you're going to tamper with the intuitive capacity, because now you're only limiting intuitive information to come in the form of survival. That means that when you're out in the world, you're only going to ever probably feel paranoid, probably look for shit that could go wrong. And this is going to actually block your capability of being an intuitive being, because like I said, intuition is not just survival. Intuition is to help guide you in the way of light and happiness and joy and pleasure. So sometimes when we are, we grow up in chaotic households, we kind of grow up with broken family, those types of people actually grow up to be very intuitive, and it's because your physical body had to learn how to sense the subtleties around you. Am I safe? Reading body language, reading people's facial expressions, reading the subtle energies around somebody, and needing to know if I'm safe or not. So some people grow up with this sort of survival instinct of intuition-based information that can sometimes, it's just not sustainable. You can't live with that forever. I think that you'll get to a certain age where it's like, you want to expand the awareness, and it's hard to become intuitive in that sense because you've only ever used intuition off of the pattern of survival. Because intuition needs your patterns, your habits to create sort of the dialogue and the way of the language so that you can understand what your body is saying to you. So it's important to start to practice how to utilize intuition from a space of neutrality, because intuition is super, super neutral, and something that people ask me all the time, and I'll go into some of my questions here, like what people have asked about intuition. People oftentimes will say, how do you know if it's intuition or if it's your fear or if it's fear-based thoughts or beliefs or paranoia or overthinking or all these different things? And I think I think the answer is very simple. I think that intuition is neutral. Even if you're receiving something that is more survival based, or needing to protect yourself, or needing to separate yourself from something that may feel bad, like bad vibes, it will not trigger you emotionally. It will just show up in a way that warns you, but it's very neutral. Intuition it's a fact. It's not based on good or bad, right? Because even when we look at the natural cycle of life and the energies in the earth and spirit and all of this, it is what it is. That's what energy is. It is what it is. It doesn't label it good or bad, and that's what intuition does. But it knows, our body knows how to receive information, and then it can tell me, Alex, this thing is not going to feel good to you. So then it brings forward that little layer of a warning so that I can become aware of this and then take charge in the direction of separating myself from a person, place, or thing that my body said, this might not feel good to you. But it's not going to create fear or anything else. We can feel fear after receiving an intuitive download if you sit with that feeling and then you cultivate a sense of fear. I think that the best way to work with your intuition is actually to just take it as is, letting it be neutral, and then finding solution around that instead of digging yourself a hole of being emotional, because then that can actually create more distress, and intuition will never, ever, ever cause distress. If you are receiving thoughts, feelings, or downloads that are causing you distress, a lot of the time it's not intuition, it's paranoia, it's fear, it's lack, it's all of these other things that are based on previous patterns of us experiencing and cultivating fear, lack, paranoia. So it's very important to understand that when spirit is talking to you and telling you something, or when your body is talking to you and telling you something, it will always show up neutral, and it will not cause you any distress. It will then invite in a solution. That's what intuition does. That's what spirit does. It's going to invite in, here's the problem area. What's your solution? Or here are the many options of solutions to move forward in a way that feels good, right? So now I'm going to go into some questions that a lot of people have asked me. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so somebody on my Instagram asked me, does being emotionally charged on a situation blur your intuition when you're asking for guidance? So I think what they're saying is, like, if you're sitting in like a meditation, or you're sitting with yourself and you're wanting to ask for guidance on a specific situation that maybe you need more direction on, and let's say you're very sad, or you're very triggered, or you're feeling angry, or there's some sort of an emotional feeling that is really overpowering your ability to perceive guidance, that will affect the way that you receive intuitive information on that specific situation. Because like I said, emotion can be super powerful, and it can actually override our intuitive ability and capability, because like I said in the beginning, intuition really does derive from our emotional awareness. And if you are already in this emotionally charged space, intuition has already been kind of lost. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that that's another way that your body actually is talking to you. Maybe it's telling you to be present with that feeling. And the more you can be present with what's already within you, if you're angry, sad, don't worry about needing to be intuitive. I think that if we put too much pressure on needing to be intuitive, or needing to receive something special or spiritual, we kind of fuck it up for ourselves. Sometimes we just have to be human. All the time we have to be human. The more human you are, the more present you are in this body, because this is where the intuition is. It is your physical, it is your human. It's a spiritual experience for us to be in the physical body. It is, because we have a soul, we also have a brain, right? These are two different facets of communication and connection, but we also have a physical body that is also very intuitive. It's got a consciousness and an intelligence of its own that derives in connection to the intuition. It comes from within. That's why it's called intuition. It comes from within the physical, right? And so sometimes we have to allow ourselves to dwell a little bit in the experiences that we're having, so that we can come to that deeper space of, now I can understand, because I sat with myself and I listened to what my body needed. And when you listen to the cries of the body, the intuition will also tell you what it needs. Right? It's super simple and subtle. Like, let's say you went through a breakup, your boyfriend just broke up with you, your girlfriend just broke up with you, and you're sitting in your room and you're crying. All you have to do is let yourself cry, let yourself be sad. Guess what is going to come after that? Ooh, I feel like I need to go out and get some fresh air. Ooh, I need to go and take a nap. Ooh, I need to go get a glass of water. I need to take a shower. Guess where you received that from? The intuitive mind. The body had then led you to what is the solution to the feeling that you're feeling, right? Your body is going to take care of you always. That comes from intuition. That is a creative sort of endeavor that your body wants to allow you to express yourself in a healthy way, in a way that feels good. Intuition is here to help you feel good. Okay, so sometimes when we're emotional, we just gotta let ourselves be emotional. It's okay to be a sad bitch. I'm a sad bitch all the time. It's okay. Sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're strong, but I think the strongest thing about being human, the most beautiful thing about being human is that we allow ourselves to be tender. Because when we allow ourselves to be tender, we don't have this wall up or we don't need to distract ourselves, we are more intuitive because we are more connected to ourselves. If we are not connected to our emotional capacity, we cannot be intuitive, right? We can't, because then the body doesn't understand how to talk to us because we don't understand how to feel it. The intuitive language is the language of feeling. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes intuition will come through emotion. It will come through a physical sensation. So like, for example, just 2 days ago, I woke up, it was a great day. All of a sudden I was super sad. So before I go into the story of my intuitive download 2 days ago, I want to just clarify something, because I know I said that, intuition is based off of emotion, all these other human aspects. And I said that intuition is neutral. It is neutral, but also there are people who are very empathic. Like myself, I'm very empathic and I can feel things. And so sometimes when I receive an intuitive download that I'm like, ooh, this doesn't feel good, I can then cultivate feelings of sadness around that. That would then deepen my understanding of what the intuitive download is. I think it's just a matter of emotional maturity around the downloads that can help you find solutions, be solution driven around the intuitive information, or fucking drive yourself crazy and depressed and paranoid. You don't want to, there's two different paths when it comes to cultivating certain emotions around the intuitive download. But what I was saying is, I got this download and I knew it because my tummy started to hurt. Like I started to feel my stomach was twisting and turning and I was feeling really nauseous. Like I wanted to throw up all of a sudden. And then I started to get really sad and I was like, okay, something bad is gonna happen today. I just know it. I didn't know who it was involving. I didn't know if it was me, a family member, a friend. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something bad was going to happen. And it took the whole entire day of me feeling nauseous to my stomach and feeling sad and feeling weird. And finally, at the end of the day, my mom called me and she said that my brother who's in prison right now, he was supposed to be getting out of prison in July. And come to find out, there's another, charge from his past that came up where he's now gonna have to serve more time. And I think that I picked that up intuitively because we were all so excited to have him get out of prison. And I had been talking to him a lot on the phone and he was very excited and very ready to heal. And I received this download, and because I love my brother so much and that's my family, my feelings around that became very sad. So sometimes if your intuitive download is about somebody that you love, you will create feelings of sadness around it because you have an emotional bond with that person, which means it's going to trigger something within your heart. So emotion is not bad when it comes to intuition. You can actually amplify your intuitive abilities through your emotion code if you know how to feel. If you know how to give yourself so much space and freedom. Intuition needs freedom. Emotion needs freedom. If we don't have freedom, creatively, intuitively, emotionally, then you limit the amount of intuitive awareness that you can tap into. So that's why it's actually good to feel, it's good to be human, because then you are smarter in your intuitive awareness. I'm gonna look at another question here. Okay, so Lauren Goldie asked on my Instagram, what if you get an intuitive nudge, but you don't want to listen to it? Girlfriend. Okay, that's a good question. I would say that you don't necessarily need to listen to your intuition. I feel like that's a choice, right? But I think that you're also, if you're not listening to your intuition, you are creating patterns around how you're teaching your body to communicate with you. So you're actually teaching your body that whatever the intuitive download was that you're not listening to. You're teaching your body that thing is not important to me. I don't feel good or bad about this thing. Don't give it to me anymore. So then you limit the information that is able and willing to come forth to you through the physical intuitive body. So you are kind of shrinking your potential, your intuitive potential, by not listening to your intuition. And I think too, like, sometimes people think that we have to have some sort of like an action around our intuitive downloads. You don't have to do anything. You just have to, it depends on the situation, but like if you're receiving something intuitively, all you have to do is say thank you to your body. If you don't want to like take some sort of action around it, or you don't know what action to take or what choice to make around it, all you have to do is say thank you. I received that. I see this and I'm going to consider it, consider what I could do around the situation. I don't think that intuition necessarily needs anything from us other than to be open to receiving it. And the more open that we are to receiving it, the more we are capable of receiving things that we want and need from the world, right? If I want to find out if the boy or girl that I'm talking to has good vibes and maybe I should date them, you want to know those things. You want your energy to pick up on someone else's energy and vibes. And I think too, like intuition is for you first. So if you're like, I don't know what my intuition is, I've never had an intuitive download. If you just feel like you're like not intuitive, I want to first say that you are. You're just limiting yourself, girl. And the way that you can practice sort of awakening your intuition is through, I would say through eating. I said this in my last podcast, but eating is like the best way to commune with the body, because the food goes straight to your body for grounding or for survival. And so this is the surest way to make the body look at you, right? So if you can allow your body to tell you what it's hungry for, if it's hungry or if it's not, am I full or am I not? That's a great way to open the intuition. Another good way to enhance your intuitive mind is to not use your GPS when you're driving. Oh my God, this was such a life-changing experience for me when I wanted to awaken my intuition. I remember one day I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna drive somewhere and I'm not gonna use my GPS. I'm just gonna like follow my gut. Like, where do I feel drawn to turn or to stop? And I remember I was not using my GPS for like a week. I swear to God, girl, like the intuitive downloads I was getting were insane. Like I was getting intuitive downloads about everything and everyone that week when I just allowed my body to be in charge of my experiences. So the more that you allow your body to be in charge of the experiences, the better. So also, even if you're like a performer, like a dancer or a singer, let yourself improv creatively. Like let yourself paint or draw or sing or dance or make pottery or do something, anything creatively without restriction. Then you're setting and creating habits around the body that it's not restricted. And then it can become more intuitive because there's no limitation to what it's willing to receive, right? So that's another way to kind of look at it. All right, so I hope all of that made sense to you guys. What I want to do now is actually go into a little bit of a tarot card reading to look into what your relationship is like with your intuition. And of course, this is a collective for anybody who's watching. It's also timeless. So whenever you watch this, you might find new information comes through, or you recognize a new piece of information with the reading. But I'm gonna ask Spirit to show me, actually, interesting, this is fun. Okay, really quick, I wanna tell you guys something about tarot and my intuitive download about the tarot. So when I first started doing tarot, I really thought like, oh, I'm connecting to the person's spirit guides or spirit in general. And the more I started to do tarot, and I'm 4 years in now, like I have 4 years of experience of reading tarot cards, something I realized just recently when I was reading for my friend Angela, I realized that when I was connecting to her energy and then pulling information through the cards, it was her body that was telling me the answers. Remember, we have intuition. It comes from within. The guidance is already within us. We just have to know how to access it, right? And trust it and listen to it and hear it and fuck with it. Angela's higher self, her body, her intuitive intelligence was the one giving all of the answers through the cards and communing to her, and then I was interpreting and giving her what her body was saying. So that's my new sort of belief around tarot cards and where the information comes from. I think that if I wanted to ask about your spirit guides, they could definitely give me messages through the cards. But I think more than anything that spirit also wants us to know how to be intuitive, and spirit is not going to take away our opportunity to learn from ourselves, from our human. The body is so intelligent, you guys. We have to learn how to trust it. I think we want spirit guidance so bad all the time that we forget that we also have a spirit that is intelligent, that wants and has something to say. So when I do this reading for you now, I'm going to tune into what does your body have to say about your relationship with intuition. Okay. What is the energy surrounding the collective of people watching this and the relationship they have with their intuition? Sorry if this is loud. 10 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. This is really good. This is really good. This is a mental breakthrough, 10 of Swords. I feel like this card has been haunting you guys since the last episode. You guys got the 10 of Swords last time too. And I feel like here it's like y'all are so ready to let go of this sort of mental attachment that you have to intuition being something that's required for you to survive, right? Like, it's almost like people who have trust issues. 10 of Swords. If you have trust issues, your intuition is already limited because you already have the perception that people are bad, everything is bad, nobody's good, everyone's against you, take shit personal. You've already hindered your ability to perceive the truth. Intuition is the truth. So if you're receiving intuitive, that's why it comes in neutral, because it's the truth. The truth comes in neutral. The truth will never instill fear. And so for most of us, we're having to let go of this mental perception that everybody's against us. Nobody likes me. That person who's looking at me is probably talking shit and thinks I'm ugly, right? We have to let go of this sort of limited perception that we have on the way that the world sees us so that we can create, Page of Pentacles, we can create new habits around the ways that we communicate. 10 of Swords, communicate with ourself, with our mind. I think that a lot of us need to become friends with ourself, right? Your mind needs to become friends with your body. What does that mean? That means that you've got to stop being fucking rude to yourself and saying that you're ugly, saying that you're stupid, saying that you're this and that, because first of all, none of that shit is even true. And I also don't even think that you truly believe that. I think that you're just finding a way to express self-hatred. We have self-hatred sometimes, and that's just another way that your body is communicating to you that you need to give yourself more love, okay? Because you're obviously wanting to express some sort of anger or something that's being held within the body that needs a release, but you're not releasing it in a healthy way. So we have to learn how to set new habits around the way that we treat ourselves, you guys. We have to stop being mean to ourselves. It's just not, it's not sustainable. It's not healthy. It's honestly, you're in the martyrship. Like, you're playing the victim with yourself. We have to stop doing that. If you play the victim, your intuition is probably really shattered as well, okay? Because when we're the victim, we're in like our own internal purgatory, which means that there's no answer for nothing. There's no solution. And intuition thrives on solution-based information. So if you are a martyr or if you're a victim, 10 of Swords energy, we've got to fix that shit so that we can find and see the new way of perceiving things, okay? Because intuition wants to help you, it wants to guide you, whereas our mind sometimes wants to limit us because it doesn't have a relationship with the physical body. So we have to invite in, Knight of Cups, love. We have to invite in love. Intuition thrives on love. It does, because that's what we're created from. Our body is created from love, okay? And the more that we can love ourselves, the more that we can connect to what would then love the body, right? Solutions to answers. Did that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I don't know who that was for. That was for me. Hopefully you can resonate with that information. But let's see what else comes through. It's interesting because I almost feel like a lot of you have a lot of shit to get over. Yeah, High Priestess reversed. I just feel like a lot of you have to be honest with yourself about how much you block and get in the way of perceiving good things for yourself. I think a lot of you have trust issues. This feels like something hard because even when I'm shuffling, there's not a lot of flyers. Flyers is like when I'm shuffling and it's like one pops out. I only ever pull flyers. I never shuffle and then like pull one on my own. I like the cards to come out on themselves. But when I'm shuffling, it's like nothing's coming out. It's like we're kind of just here. I think maybe you guys need to learn how to be more present, because there is this feeling of like you guys being a little bit numb too. Like I said, intuition thrives on emotion and your capability of listening to your body through that emotional awareness. And if you guys are numb to your experiences because you've been through so much shit that you just don't give a fuck, right? High Priestess, she recluses herself. She hides herself from her wisdom, because she just sees her experiences as things of like, oh, well, this thing hurt me. I am a victim. This thing happened to me. You did this to me. It's like very much putting the blame on the experiences of life. If we continue to be in that energy, that internal purgatory, we're never going to invite in love. We're never going to invite in new opportunities to then receive truth. So a lot of you I want you to put your hands, one hand on your heart. I have a speaker, so I don't want to touch it, fuck it up. But put your hand on your heart and put one hand on your belly. And I just want you to take in a nice deep breath. And I just want you to say thank you to your body. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring. She's right there. I don't know if you can see her. Chloe, shut up. Just kidding. I want you guys to just love yourself in this moment and say, I am safe where I'm at. And even though I've been through a lot of shit, oh my God, I think I'm feeling your guys' energy, because I feel so dizzy. I feel like a pit in my belly. I think that a lot of you guys have a father wound as well, like an absent father. I just feel this here. A lot of you guys, this is why a lot of you women are in your masculine, because you didn't have a masculine to guide you. It's like the shadow side to the High Priestess is that there's a lot of pain around the ways of survival. And this is why it's hard for you to trust your environment, the people around you. I think a lot of you, even it's hard for you to trust love. It's hard. This is why your intuition sucks, because you can't even accept an apology. You can't accept a compliment. You can't accept good things that are literally being communicated through the world around you. So you guys have to learn how to say thank you when someone says that you look beautiful today. Learn how to say thank you when your tummy growls saying I'm hungry. All the ways that your body can communicate love to you. Learn how to receive that and say thank you. And just be present. Like, I really feel like this tarot card reading needs to like just stop here, because I think for a lot of you, you're not even gonna receive whatever else needs to come through. I think that was the message, is that we have to learn how to be nicer to ourselves, because our intuition is the body. And if you don't love your body, how do you expect to be an intuitive person? You have to love your body. You have to love your mind and your spirit and everything that you are, because your intuition survives in this vessel. You have to know how to connect to the vessel. You are beautiful, you are loved, you are safe, you are holy, you are a fucking amazing person, and you deserve to be intuitive, you deserve to have healing, and you deserve to take away all of the wisdom from painful experiences and then choose to leave behind the pain, because you've already felt that. You don't have to carry those burdens with you moving forward. 10 of Swords, there is a mental breakthrough. There's a perspective breakthrough. There's a shift happening here. Don't ignore it. High Priestess reversed. Don't ignore it. Let your body guide you, okay? Let your body guide you. I hope this helped you. I love you. I will just leave it there. I hope this made sense. I hope it, after I'm done talking, like I don't even know what the fuck I just said. So hopefully it made sense and it was like enough for you to kind of grasp something from this. But I love you, and I will leave you guys there with that. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon.